Thank you, Mr Deputy Speaker. Look, it's disappointing to see members opposite engaging in this overblown rhetoric and hyperbole, and we saw it from the member from McMahon at the beginning of the MPI, and I can understand that the member for McMahon would have been very embarrassed with his two very ordinary questions in question time and probably sought to atone for that. But I think we just need to settle the debate and actually talk about facts. We are not proposing to repeal protections here. We're improving these rules in line with our election commitments. And 2014 is the year when the coalition government will deliver on each of those commitments that we made prior to the election. We're not proposing to get rid of the requirements that financial advisers act in the best interests of their clients. Quite the contrary. As members on this side have said earlier today, we are actually focusing on the fiduciary duties that financial advisers owe their clients. And it's very heroic for any government to assume that they could look into their crystal ball and gaze about what each possible problem may be between a financial adviser and their client. But if we focus on the fiduciary duties that apply, and that is that the financial adviser always acts in the best interest of their client, then that is a good place to start. We're not proposing to reintroduce commissions or other conflicted remuneration structures. That is just wrong. And so the overblown rhetoric of those opposite, I think, is going to blow up in their own face, because when the facts come to light, as the review will ensure happens, all of these inaccuracies propagated by those opposite will come to light. Instead, we're restoring a level playing field across the whole financial services market, ensuring that everyday consumers of financial advice can continue to access robust financial advice personal to their own circumstances and in their best interests. We agree there is a significant public interest in ensuring that financial advice laws are transparent and competitive in a financial services system, but we are also concerned that consumers actually have access to that advice. And if we create a regulatory system around the access of financial advice that disenfranchises one consumer from getting personal advice for themselves, then we have done a disservice to them. And in ensuring that we do provide that access to all consumers, we want to ensure that people who are saving for their retirement have the certainty in the advice that they are receiving. We're not seeking to throw the baby out with the bathwater in that sense, but a balance has to be reached, and that is what the Coalition's version of these rules will ensure. And don't take our word for it. Listen to some eminent people in the markets, and those opposite who mostly have never worked in the private sector should listen to this. Ian Narev, the CEO of Commonwealth Bank, said this: Australia's financial planning industry is too heavily regulated and customers will be better off with fewer regulations. Or Steve Munchenberg from the Australian Bankers Association. He claimed that these changes were sensible and claimed that the opponents, being the members opposite, had been circulating disinformation about their impact. These are eminent people in financial services industry. In my own electorate of Deakin, I've spoken to many consumers and providers of financial advice, and in these discussions two prevailing themes have come through. For everyday investors, there was justifiable anxiety that the additional costs that they would face in accessing financial advice would actually mean that they were unable to afford it. And from financial advice providers, their view has been that FOFA is unworkable. And one provider sent me an email this morning and said the following, and I quote, "I don't think any AFSL holder is ready for it," being FOFA. And we're meant to be compliant already? I mean, this observation confirms the fact that the costs and disincentives with Labor's FOFA just is not workable, and our changes are extremely important.
Member's time has expired. I call the member for